One thing about the book that I really enjoyed, I'm assuming this was intentional, but throughout the book and different times of your life, I feel like I was always listening to you, but at different ages, I really felt like the voice of who you were in your head at that point in your life really came through. And I think I expect, having never written a memoir, I expect that would have to be intentional, or maybe it just came naturally from how you plumb these memories, but
I was experimenting with, and I was like, "I hope this works," 'cause
it worked.
it is very difficult. The first time I
Yeah.
encountered that technique, was Melissa Banks' Girl's Guide to Hunting and Fishing, and I just thought, "Whoa," and also in Pamela DeBar's book about,
Hmm.
I'm spacing on the title, but about
I'm with the band.
I'm with the band, exactly, and I just thought, "Oh, that's really that's a young voice," and then I was thinking
Right.
about, okay, the books that I love, what is the age of that voice? Is it an embodied
Yeah.
voice? What are
Right.
those voices? And so I just as I was I mean, my whole I love storytelling, so I'm always,
Hmm.
trying to understand how the craft works, what the tools are, and just playing around in all those different ways of working, and so I a lot of times people will say, Are you okay?" And I just think, That's my craft. I did good with my craft. It makes you even ask that question."
Yeah. I was actually amazed by that. And I noticed it very, very much. I'm like, right on. This is cool. I like
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. This is now a young teen. This is now a young woman, like for me, it worked wonderfully. I thought that was incredibly successful. And I think it was one of the aspects of the writing that I
Tell
really
me if this was
loved.
your experience growing up, because speaking of changing the voices, when I got to, I would say, my late teens, that was some of the most embarrassing stuff to write. So between, I wanna say, like, 17 to 24 was
Okay.
just and my question is, did you experience this pattern? Get to know the players and try out behaving like the players, and then abandon that, and then try to find your own way of doing things, because that middle section of trying to be like what I was taught
Hmm.
is just nothing but cringe for me.
Hmm.
Not that I haven't done some adult cringe things, but
Yeah. um, I guess maybe that's a yes and a no. Um,
do you see a
I,
pattern of
what you're describing and how I hear it is to me sort of about trying to fit in and find acceptance in whatever group it is you're trying to sort of become a part of. Maybe that's not what you're saying, but
say, "Okay,
so I had a weird life in that I dropped out of second grade and I didn't go back to school again until seventh grade.
you
And
homeschool?"
several of Not really. I just was
You were
smoking
just
pot
you
and
were like, "I'm gonna
building.
read a Charles Dickens novel, I'm gonna."
It was a Northern California hippie, largely live off the land kind of.
Okay,
Yeah, several of those years was with no electricity. One of those years was not even running water.
okay.
Um,
So
so
nature.
also no TV, which was actually kind of a benefit.
Yep, yep. Okay.
And then in seventh grade I went back to school, and so I was immediately awkward because I wasn't very adept at having conversations with people my own age.
Right,
I was very comfortable talking with adults. And so my teachers loved me because there's like, oh, there's this precocious, smart little kid who's
right.
very thoughtful and actually talks to me like a human being. And the other kids are like, who's the weirdo?